Okay, I'm talking with the CEO of Allocade about their on-queue software and the difference that makes in hospitals. And Rick, when I was reading your material about on-queue, it seems to me that this is looking at a problem which I think hospitals don't realise they have.
I would say that that's possibly true, and the reason they don't know that they have it is basically because as long as we can remember, we've never thought that there was a solution to that problem. And that's just the way it was, that we had to deal with chaos with grease boards and paper and post-it notes. And with our solution, we've helped solve that problem.
Yeah, I know when I was reading the material again that you're coming across with a lot of buzzwords that other companies don't have. I mean, here we're talking about meaningful use and distributed information, and you talk about real-time optimization, and nowhere else is talking about that. So what's the difference that on-queue makes to hospitals? Why should someone start talking to you?
Well, we bring something I think everybody that's starting to realize in the last few years, especially when you talk to CIOs and hospitals, that they're begging for there to be technology brought into healthcare that has been successful and have been tried and been proven in other industries. And this is one of the first times that we've done that, because what you're talking about here is a technology that was perfected, first of all, with the Hubble telescope and managing all of the movements and all of the jobs that it was assigned while in space, which they were 10 times oversubscribed. Okay,
if I'm a hospital, what are the benefits that am I going to get from on-queue then?
Well, the benefit, basically, overall, there's a number of things, but let's just take it to the highest level. We are going to give you the opportunity to maximize the utilization of your resources. That includes all of your equipment and all of your people. That will as an outcome of that gives you greater capacity opportunities. If you have the ability to fill those capacities one way or another, you're going to add revenue, you're going to get higher productivity gains, you're going to get more people through the system faster, and you're also, if you don't have the ability to fill the capacity opportunity, then you can look at whether you can shorten shift hours, you need less staff, so you're going to have cost savings on the other side if you don't have the ability to fill the capacity.
I think one of the key things to understand about the differences of on-queue is really not just where it comes from, but what does it actually do?
We are a software solution that addresses the day of uncontrollable variability that hospitals have to deal with. Most hospitals today will schedule for 65% capacity when they fill out their schedules for the day for radiology, for cardiology, for surgery. And they leave gaps in that schedule because they know that the ED is going to bring a lot of problems and they're going to have to fill it, and they're going to have to then pull down all the outpatients that are scheduled who are kind of sitting there in a holding pen, so to speak, and they pull them as they're needed. And what ends up happening with this is that you're dealing with this chaos all of the time. What ends up happening, maybe ED patients don't get there as fast as they should, so that for the order to the table time gets delayed, and then all of a sudden the inpatients they go to the end of the day because you can't fit them in early, you get missed AM discharges, and then you got outpatients sitting and waiting way past when they're supposed to. What we do is we give you the ability, we take all the order information off of your RIS system through an HL7 feed, and we display all the order information in each of the individual modalities so that they have the ability to see exactly what is going to be happening for their day. And then what we do is we also give the ability to see all of the ED to see all of their patients and what's going on with them, and all of the floors to see their patients that are scheduled for radiology that day and what's happening with them. So now the transparency is there for all the caregivers that have full visibility on what's taking place. Now the secret here is we sit with each modality and we build a model around everything they do today, but they do it in their mind. And everybody's trying to get everything done and do this and this. What we do is build this model of priorities, protocols, preferences, and list all the constraints, and then that model takes over when the day starts, and it starts filling in when the emergencies hit, and it balances across all your resources and start plugging in people into the schedule and then communicating that to all the caregivers so everybody is in the loop of what's going on.
Sure, and because you're sort of HL7 based, then I guess you're platform independent, aren't you really?
Platform dependent in what way?
Well, in the sense that I could be running any legacy system and as long as I can interface that data into yours in some way, then that's fine.
Yes, it is. We're totally, we can go with anybody. We have our own interfaceware as well, so it cuts down a lot of the efforts that's going to have to be put out by the individual IT departments. So it makes it a lot easier, and just with the HL7, which is our standard in healthcare, it makes everything a lot easier.
And obviously, I mean, you mentioned on it briefly, there are some financial savings that are going to be made in resources as well as money.
Yes.
I mean, where's the sort of the return on investment on this? If I was a hospital, roughly how long will it take me before I can say I get my money back, if that's a bad question to ask?
It's, we're an annual subscription model, so There's not a capital expenditure. We charge a certain fee for an entire radiology suite. We charge $200,000 a year for that, and then you do pay that annually. Your return on that investment, based on just everything that we're seeing with all of our customers that are installed now, the averages are, what we're seeing is something on the line of MR and CT. MR is averaging an additional 2 patients per resource a day.
Right.
The CT department, they're averaging 1.5 patients per resource extra a day. And you're looking also across IR, you're getting people through the system faster. So what we're seeing is we're averaging more patients per day in each modality. And you put a monetary element to that, and you look at what's the lowest reimbursement for a CT, what's the lowest reimbursement for MR. And just those 2 modalities alone, you're looking at $275,000 a year in MR and additional revenue per resource. So if I got multiples, that's just times that amount. And the same is true for CT, is at $75,000 a year per resource.
And these are big numbers, aren't they?
These are very big numbers. We believe that adequately used in an average size hospital, that you have the potential of generating additional revenue of somewhere between probably $500,000 to $1 million a year on an expenditure of $200,000.
Does that mean that you're really visible and aiming at the medium-sized to larger hospital primarily, or can you, if I was a 50-bed hospital somewhere, you talk to me?
Well, right now, I would say that what we want to do, and it's the greater the chaos, the better we are. That's really the truth, and that's what we like. So we're probably looking at 250-bed hospitals and above, because they're having to deal with a lot of chaos. And smaller hospitals that don't have the scheduling issues and the overflow of ED and outpatients, I don't know how much of a help we would be.
Okay, I mean, and as sort of a final question, do you find that you're competing for projects with, say, other companies who are going to, say, the 70% of hospitals that don't have an electronic health record and are saying, look, I've got a finite budget, what do I spend my money on?
Sure.
Do you ever get that question?
Not really the question on that, because I'm not sure that we really know what the payback is for the larger EMR type systems. It's a very large expense. We feel that within 3 months you'll start seeing the payback on what we do. So your exposure and your risk is a lot less. A lot of people are looking at the EMR systems today, and would it take priority over ours? We're easy to install and get done quickly. So I'd say that that we would be easy to fit in and integrate to their system without interfering with anything.
And would I be the CIO or the CFO that calls you, the financial guy or the IT guy that calls
you? Probably both.
All right.
Because I think it depends on who hears it first. I think the CIO is naturally, everybody is looking today as the CIO to be the gatekeeper for the hospital and making sure that they're not getting into something that's going to cause problems down the line. And usually that's where we try to make our entry point, CIO, because we also gather a lot of data, and we're gathering metrics on everything that we capture, every keystroke that we make on our clients, which gives the hospital the ability to not only to correct workflows that in their own system, and it helps them get visibility on where the biggest issues are. So when we provide those metrics on a quarterly basis, so they have a kind of a benchmark to work against and see where their improvements are coming from and adjustments they have to make in their existing workflows.
Okay, Rick, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Richard.